That night Esther stood outside the king's chamber. No guard spoke to her. No voices guided her. One step forward could save an entire nation. One step forward could end her life, and God was silent. The Persian Empire stretched farther than the eye could see, 127 provinces, from India to Ethiopia. At its center sat King Xerxes, powerful, wealthy, feared. His word could not be reversed. His anger could not be challenged. And yet on one drunken night, a queen said no. Queen Vashti refused the king's command, and by morning she was erased from history. The palace was quiet again, but a search had begun, a search for a new queen. Among the captives in Persia lived a young Jewish girl named Esther. She had no parents, no royal blood, no voice in the empire. She was raised by her cousin, Mordecai, a man who taught her one thing above all else: survive quietly. When soldiers came for the young women of the kingdom, Esther was taken, not asked, taken, perfumed, trained, watched, and through it all, she hid her identity. No one knew she was Jewish. No one knew her past. And for a moment, it seemed her silence had protected her. Esther was chosen queen, but crowns often come before storms. Near the king stood Haman, proud, powerful, and hungry for honor. Men bowed as he passed, all except one. Mordecai refused to bow, not out of rebellion, but out of faith. Haman's pride turned into rage, and rage demanded blood, not just Mordecai's, all Jews. A decree was written, sealed by the king's ring. A date was set, an entire people marked for death, and Esther sat on a throne, unaware. When Mordecai learned of the decree, he tore his clothes. He wept in the streets. And word reached the palace. Esther was confused, safe, comfortable, until Mordecai sent a message she would never forget. Do not think you will escape because you are in the palace. If you remain silent now, deliverance will come from another place. But you and your family will perish. And who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Silence filled the room. Esther understood. The crown had never been the blessing. It was the assignment. Approaching the king uninvited was forbidden. The punishment was death. Unless the king chose mercy. Esther asked for 3 days. No food, no water, only prayer. The empire feasted, but the Jews fasted. And on the 3rd day Esther rose, not knowing the outcome, only knowing the cost. If I perish, I perish. Esther walked into the king's court, every breath held, every second stretched. Then the scepter moved. She lived. Banquets followed. Haman plotted. A gallows was built. But the night before Mordecai's execution, the king could not sleep. Records were read. A forgotten loyalty was remembered. And by morning, pride fell. Haman was hanged on the gallows he built. The decree was overturned. The Jews were saved, not by armies, but by courage. God's name is never mentioned in the book of Esther, yet his fingerprints are everywhere, in timing, in positioning, in courage. You may feel hidden, silent, unseen, but silence does not mean absence, and comfort does not mean calling. You may be where you are, for such a time as this. Esther did not know the ending. She only knew the moment. And sometimes faith is not knowing the future. It's stepping forward anyway. I pray that every Haman assigned against your life, every plot, every scheme, every hidden agenda will collapse by its own design. May the traps set for you become the undoing of those who meant you harm. As God did in the days of Esther, may He expose wicked plans, reverse evil decrees, and turn shame into victory for you. May divine justice speak on your behalf, and may your enemies fall by the very gallows they built. In the name of the Most High, Amen.